there, kids. It's me, Oni the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the OhNo Radio Show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up with some cash, yo. $1, $5, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
And welcome back once again to another edition of the OhNo Wrestling Podcast. My name is Owen, and I am no longer your predictions champion, but I am still the Sharp Break Kid. And along with me tonight, as always, it's my good friend, the King of Bong Style, Duncan.
You goddamn right.
And our new predictions champion, the modern day Maharaja, it's Matthew himself, all the way from Denver. Congratulations, Matthew.
Thank you. I told you I was bringing it home.
Yeah,
I
didn't
had
have
to send out some shitty texts here. Hold on one second.
Okay.
I rode into my place on my bike and sent out some shitty texts.
Yeah, well, I didn't have a really good feeling about this one, I'll be honest with you, but we all got a couple right here and there. I think you I mean, obviously you did the best, Matthew, but you were pretty damn close in a lot of your predictions, I want to say.
Close.
Yeah. And then obviously there's some other stuff that none of us could have really anticipated or predicted. That being said,
Where the hell have you been?
God damn it, Vince.
But
First,
was that not perfect?
it was, in a way, it sort of was, wasn't it? Like, I maybe wanted a little bit more rather than just in, out, turn around. But he's gotten a lot of shit for this. But it's totally in character. You don't expect Vince to come out and give a long John Cena-esque soliloquy about how much the fans matter and how much, they mean to the program. It's just not Vince. Yet, I think completely in character, him coming out doing that on the SmackDown prior. It was the SmackDown prior to Money in the Bank, right? That was the first show
back with live fans.
With live fans. But in a way, that short and sweet type of thing works, and it works for him. And you know what? If he was out there for, 10 minutes talking about it all, he would have gotten shit for taking away from the rest of the talent. So you can, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't in his position. Yeah. And honestly, why the hell not? I kind of thought it worked. So your initial thoughts on just having fans back before we get into Money in the Bank and, last night's Raw.
Having fans back is awesome. Wrestling fucking needs it. I mean, we saw it with AEW, but even just for the WWE product, it was there. And
I feel like they need it more than anyone.
I feel like they do too. I mean, it's just been so long. It's a really nice change of pace to see the interactions and the pops, that you're getting, the chants. I mean, the crowd, especially, I mean, they've all been buzzing. They're all happy to be there. You can tell super engaged.
Okay, I'll disagree with you. some of that, because I don't think some of those Texas crowds have been, and at certain times where they maybe should have been. Now they've come alive a lot at times, but there've been, like, there were a lot of moments in both that SmackDown and at Money in the Bank in particular where I felt like I don't know, I'm like, this just feels a little more lackluster than I expected it to be. I think last night's crowd, and maybe that was a different city. I don't really pay attention. I know it was still in Texas, but last night's crowd for Raw, they seemed more into it than I think the crowd at the pay-per-view in particular. I don't know if that's just me or I'm reading too much into it. Maybe it's the fact that they are still annoyingly occasionally putting in these the sound files, where they're pumping in crowd noise, and they're definitely doing it here and there.
Yeah.
Wonder if they're doing that in the arenas. What do your Reddit sources tell you?
I haven't seen anything about that. I'll have to, that's a really good question to ask, to be honest, because when we went to NXT, they were absolutely doing that.
Yeah, 100%. So I wonder if they're doing it in the actual arena. So
well,
interesting.
And that if they were doing that, it's not a bad idea in a lot of ways, because it's a psychological thing that maybe even if I'm not into this person that they want me to support, I hear a bit of a chant coming, then it forces the crowd to get in behind whatever chant is happening, even though it's not organic, right? Like, it's the type of thing that can, it's not organic, but it can sway the crowd into it being organic. Does that make sense? Like, it's leading the witness or what have you. Like, I'm sure there's a better way to explain it, but that whole idea of you can tell they still want to have that control that they had during the Thunderdome and be able to control the narrative in general. And they will probably, now that they've had a taste of that, they'll probably never ever go completely back to just 100% crowd noise. Do you think?
I mean, I would hope they would. I don't think you can. I mean, if I were there and it was being pumped in, it would be distracting to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how they could get the fans to actually react the way they want to is to fucking
have good matches.
Things. Yeah, good
put
matches
on a good
and good
put on
booking.
a good product. Yeah. There's that.
Right?
There's that. We'll get into the booking over the last couple of days in just a second. But overall, it's been a lot of wrestling over the last few days, especially when you even include things like Slammiversary. Impact Slammiversary was on Saturday. Of course, it had Kenny Omega defending his Impact Championship against Sami Callihan. I wasn't totally surprised that Kenny retained, but I thought that Sami would have been one of those very top of the list contenders to have dethroned him.
Yeah, I think he would have too. I was thinking more and more about it, and I feel like if he's going to start dropping the titles, I feel like he's going to maybe drop the AEW title first.
Which, yeah, I mean, it's kind of fitting.
Like, that's like the big,
We said otherwise. We said it would be the other way around.
Yeah, I know. But the more I've thought about it, it seems to make sense to me that he would drop the AEW title, because that's going to put whoever over in AEW as the bigot, right? Like,
right.
That's like a big put over for whoever, Hangman or whatever, as opposed to somebody else beating him for their promotion's title and then him coming back still being AEW and then losing it. I mean, I can see it the other way around too, but it's just starting to make more sense that AEW is doing this and they've done it with these other promotions. Their belt should be the one that is like the highest level.
And I think it would also it would sort of help tell the story of him sort of breaking down, right? Like, if he loses almost the top, gold, then if he loses that, then realistically that could send him on a downward spiral to, dropping these other belts, in the process. Because the only one he had when he got the AEW championship was the AAA, right?
AAA.
And then
Mega Campione.
Yeah, then after that he got the other two. But does that mean if he loses because he's defending the Impact title, he's not defending the TNA title as well, right? Like, does he keep one and not the other? Or do they go as a package?
No, I think they go as a package. It's like it's the way that Jericho had the Undisputed Championship of the two belts. Like the big gold and the Attitude Winged Eagle. So like, because Moose had brought back the TNA Championship and Rich Swann had the Impact Championship. Yep. So when Rich Swann won that, it was the unification match for the belts.
Yeah. I won't pretend that I saw all of Slammiversary. I've just got, caught clips, caught snippets here and there.
Me too.
But from what I can
tell,
for
all of us. Between all of us, we'd probably seen all of it.
Yeah, exactly. There was definitely some good stuff on there. It was nice to see, Chelsea Green back in Impact with,
huge pop. I popped real hard for that.
Yeah, it's super cool, and obviously alongside her husband to be and all that, right? Like that was kind of cool.
I love the hot mess gimmick. I've seen it a couple of times live, and it's just like, God damn it, this is entertaining as shit.
No, and it works, and it's a very Impact gimmick, and there's a lot of
Impact gets away with so much more shit than WWE does. Like they can do these kind of like
the more
borderline goofy gimmicks.
And she had just signed, with ROH as well, right?
I mean, she had definitely appeared at ROH. I guess her deal allows her for both, which is awesome.
Which is just showing you, like, how things are changing and how maybe even the relationship between Impact and AEW is affecting other companies as well, where they're like, hey, this can work. We don't all have to be enemies here, and they're just, slowly each, promotion dipping their toe a little into those waters and making it, more acceptable for people to appear in, Impact, ROH, AEW, Impact, and even like AAA with like the Lucha Bros and that type of thing. So
absolutely,
I think it's like what's good for business, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have WWE, which is like the Goliath, right? And so how are you going to, continue to take on that Goliath? Like, you can't have a lot of these smaller companies trying to stand on their own anymore. And it makes it better for the wrestlers and better for the fans. And it kind of creates that community, and they don't have to do it all the time, but they can pick and choose, and it will keep it special and keep it interesting, I think.
It's also nice to see No Way. Once formerly No Way Jose, I guess he's just No Way now.
Dude, that stupid theme song, as soon as I saw him, got in my head.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it in years.
Yeah, and it will always be his theme song, no matter where he goes and how many years he's away from it. And like,
doesn't matter at all.
It was interesting too, because remember when he first left WWE or got released, he was like really on social media, kind of hyping up a different version of himself. I think he had his hair in cornrows, or he had a different look and everything like that. So it's interesting to see, again, a very Impact style type character, for him to go straight back to essentially the exact gimmick that, got him to the dance in the first place, I guess you'll say.
I didn't hate it.
Right. Little bit of I don't know, you guys caught the vignette, right? Of the Drama King.
Hell yes.
That's cool, man. Like this is obviously for Aiden English, or formerly known as Aiden English. And once again, another good fit for Impact. Like, they've been very smart about the people they have chosen to go after, knowing that they probably can't afford some of your top tier names that are, being released. Like, I don't know if they can afford a Braun Strowman. I don't know if they could afford an Aleister Black or an Andrade.
I wonder if Braun Strowman already has things going on, which I'm sure we'll get to.
We will. But that being said, they've gone after talent that fits the size of the company and the aesthetic of the company, both at the same time, which is very, very good. It's not, because you run the risk otherwise, if you bring in too big of a star, say, you run the risk, for whatever reason, Seth Rollins is released tomorrow. He goes to Impact. Well, the whole fucking show is going to be nothing but the Seth Rollins show, right? It would because of the money they would have to pay him.
All plans.
It would exactly. Whereas these guys, they can all kind of fit into what is being developed already. So I was super happy with that. And then we've got the main event, which I already said, Kenny Omega did retain his championship against Sami Callihan, which I haven't seen the whole match. I'm told it was actually pretty decent, but it's less about that match and what happened afterwards. Now you are both a little bit more familiar with the New Japan side of things than I am, but this seemed like another knocking down of the Forbidden Door again.
This is a big door.
And we had, of course, Jay White show up on Impact Television. The Switchblade. Now, talk to us a little bit about the history behind Kenny Omega and one Jay White here.
Well, when Kenny Omega left New Japan, essentially, Jay White is the one that took his place as the leader of the Bullet Club, as far as like the Western leader of the Bullet Club.
And I think in New Japan's eyes, probably their new Gaijin star.
Yeah, the Western.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, and he came in and he wrecked shop and he won both belts, I want to say. I want to say he won the Intercontinental and the IWGP Heavyweight. Yeah. And, they pushed Jay White fucking hard and fast. And he's a fairly big deal for New Japan. So, for him to show up at Impact... Did he get injured for a while there?
I
believe so,
I think something happened there because, but then again, it's so crazy with all COVID and who's appearing where and travel restrictions, of course. I don't know if he lives permanently in Japan or anything like that.
I know he's a Kiwi, but I don't know where he actually lives.
Right, but it was hard to tell kind of where what's going on with Jay White because there was a large period I'm not gonna lie, I almost forgot about him, just not being in the scene, not being in the public eye or whatever. So really good to see him. And where do you think this is going, the both of you?
He lives in Florida, it says. Wikipedia says.
He's a wrestler. They're required to at least put some time in here for sure.
Yeah, you got to live here for at least a year.
Yeah.
I know what I want to see. I want to see Jay White take the title from him and take it to Japan.
And take what title exactly?
I think that because it's an Impact,
take the
Impact titles, but what if it spills over into dude, if Jay White, fuck me, if Jay White, Tama Tonga, and Tongaloa show up at Dynamite.
Oh.
There it is.
Fuck up the Elite.
Yep.
Yeah. You could have that real Super Elite versus Bullet Club feud.
Especially with the way the Elite left New Japan and there already was that kind of Civil War, type thing with the BC.
Or even if it was
Elite.
fucking, I know it wouldn't work, but if it was Hangman with the Gorillas of Destiny,
that could still work. I could still see that happening. I mean, I guess we've got the Dark Order thing to contend with there with, Hangman already. So that's kind of built in. That kind of throws that monkey wrench. But is just on paper, if that didn't exist, I think you could have that work just because of the disassociation now between Hangman and the Elite and kind of, I mean, he would know Tonga very well. He would know all those guys pretty well, I'm sure. So that could work. And, it's, what is it? The friend of my enemy is my friend and all that type of stuff that plays out with that. I think that they're working I think they're working towards something of the sort. And I want to say that one's one they're holding out for maybe probably a big pay-per-view and a big angle.
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it makes sense in a lot of ways because I know Jay White, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, you both would probably know better than me, but I don't think he's ever bested Kenny, right?
Jay White?
Yeah. Or did Kenny?
No, didn't he lose? Jay White lost to him.
Yeah, Jay White. Wait, did Kenny lose to Jay White in the end?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And so, because Kenny posted, what was it? Hold on. He posted something on Twitter saying like, I don't like this, like something about like, yeah, not even talking about the loss record or taking the loss here. He's like, we don't need to revisit this match. He's like, I don't want to wrestle him or something like that.
So it's the cowardly thing at that point because he knows he's got
chicken shit way.
So
he's got his number.
He posted something someone else had done and said last time Kenny Omega Jay White had a match, it was a battle of epic proportions in Sapporo, and so they posted a clip and then Kenny says, not denying the loss or anything, but we don't need to revisit this. It was a one-time thing. That's it.
Ooh, which. Come on, man. Like,
right?
Like, I don't think that's a one-time thing. Maybe you think it's a one-time thing, but that could also.
I think he wants it to be a one-time
right.
thing.
I mean, in kayfabe, he would have every. I mean, it would make perfect sense that he would want it to be a one-time thing then. So no, that's awesome. Built-in storyline already, and with the apparent working relationship with New Japan and AEW at the moment, now we've got this Impact appearance. You could be right, Duncan. I mean, it's very open to, Jay White popping up on AEW television.
Dude, it would be a coup, and it would be something that would sell a fuckload of tickets for every other AEW show because people are going to be like, what am I going to see now?
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. What belt does he hold at the moment?
He's got the never open weight.
The never open weight. Yeah, because I knew that other guy. Oh God, I can't remember his name.
Minoru Suzuki.
Yes, he took the the championship and was obviously saying about Will Ospreay that he doesn't feel like he's a real champion until he can defeat Will Ospreay. So I at least knew that was the case, and I think that's super cool. But we'll see if that ever happens with Will Ospreay's neck and all that shit. And I hope that's getting better.
Yeah, all he does is talk shit on social media.
Well, he's English.
Yeah, I know. He dresses like Euro trash. He's just like, oh my god.
But no, very cool to see Impact doing something that moves the needle for a lot of people. I don't know if you heard today or yesterday. They've set up Kenny's next opponent with a battle royal that happened on one of their shows. I don't know if that was. I think this might have been a taping. So spoiler. Sorry. I don't think this is aired yet. So I'll play spoiler music real quick, and we'll give it out. Hang on here. Let me find some. So yeah, we got some spoiler music here. So. From what I read in the old Dirty Dirts, they had Don Callis was the one that decided to, I guess, make this match happen where I don't know who was in it, but it was essentially a battle royal for the #1 contender for Kenny Omega's Impact Championship. And Bryan Myers is the victor of that match.
I love this a drop.
Yeah, it was right there. Bryan Myers. I was half expecting him to pop out and go through the door into the studio behind you when that happened.
But yeah, I don't think. I mean, as much as I like Bryan Myers, I don't think that's a huge threat to Kenny's championship. I can't see the Bryan Myers.
Herring.
Yeah.
This is a definite red herring.
You think so? You think he could do it?
No, I think that Bryan Myers is a red herring to distract from who the true next opponent is going to be.
Right. And they might still have a match, but...
Of course they'll still have a match, but does anybody think that Kurt Hawkins, Mr. O and 50, is going to... he doesn't have a prayer in hell.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
So, I don't know who you think about that. So if Don Callis is the one that set that up, then what does Tommy Dreamer set up as the Impact or the Anthem representative, I guess?
Yeah.
What does he set? Because that would be better suited.
I mean, there's obviously Moose, but I think that's coming later. Moose is in a bit of his own feud right now going on.
Yeah, they already did.
They've already done Kenny Moose, so they don't need to do that right away. I think Moose will be an Impact champion again. It's just not right.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna. I think his interaction with Kenny is done.
Yeah. I mean, who do you have? I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I would have said Sami Callihan. It was a 50-50 for me on that show if Sami would take it, just because I feel like the start of the belt collecting thing could be at the end. Let's not talk about Bryan Myers now, and we'll get rid of the spoiler music. But yeah, like they don't have a ton of names that on the Impact roster right now that do fit the bill.
Right.
And that's why this whole Jay White thing is, oh shit, like that could really work. Like I think that might be a better way out. And it sucks for Impact because it should really be one of their guys. And they're obviously relying on two guys from different promotions to, carry, the show for a while. But it's only going to get more eyes on the product, like we were talking about earlier. And yeah, like that is at least a good credible threat. Other than that, I can't really pick like a standout from Impact at the moment that would work. It's not like an Eddie Edwards. It's not. It's. I don't see that. I don't.
No, I don't know, man. It's weird for me because part of me feels like, losing the AEW title is the right thing to do first.
Yeah.
But then part of me is like, I feel like it gives more emphasis to Hangman, but it gives more emphasis to the overall like story arc if he loses the other two titles first. So it's just like, how are they going to do that? Because obviously Hangman's going to take the AEW title from him.
I don't know if it's yet though. I
don't know if it is either.
But he will. Yeah. I mean that'll happen. And it is tough what you're saying there, Dunks, because I think with so many storylines that have been developed around this belt collector gimmick, I can't see that every single one of them pays out for everybody that Kenny drops it to, right? Like there's somebody like it's right. It doesn't feel not everybody can win on this one in a weird way. Yeah. And I mean, Kenny probably has to go away for a while too to make it really all work. Like you can't have him lose all the belts and still be around. I don't know. It feels like we'll probably not see Kenny on TV for a few months. I would guess.
And that would probably be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's seemingly doing better now, but we know he's been struggling with some of his injury issues, health issues. I don't know how much of that is a work or not, but here's what he could probably use a bit of time off.
I'm sure he could. Here's my fear with AEW is that we are getting dangerously close to building everything around the same like six dudes.
Yeah. Jericho, Moxley, Omega, the Bucks.
And
Jungle Boy, really.
I mean, Jungle Boy is the new one,
right?
Like Matt Hardy was that for a minute, right? And everybody else that they tried to make it work with, but like Cassidy, yeah. Some of these dudes need to like be featured less. Like, yes, I understand that we're telling stories, but at the same time, when every story involves one of these people, Cody as well, don't get me wrong, I like the direction we're going with the Malachi Black thing, but like I'm looking at the poster and I'm just like, fuck.
They can't all be in the main event picture, right? Like they need to like, and they're not at the moment. But we also, I think the big one that really is the biggest problem in all of this, I think we'd all agree, is Jericho. Like we just need a break from Jericho for a bit. Like it's every big angle, every big moment. Judas. We all love the song, but for fuck's sake, come on. Like,
right.
It'll be really interesting to see what they do with Rampage and like if they're going to kind of split that and maybe keep some of those storylines on that show. And like, because they said that they are still going to have big stars on that show, right. You know, so if they have like, you know, instead of having all of these matches with all of these, you know, 5-6 people focusing around them, they kind of can split it a little more because it's not dark. It's not yeah. And I'm not going to say it's going to be a 50-50, but I think that if they're smart, it's going to allow them to say things on Dynamite that's going to get people to want to watch, right? Especially after SmackDown.
It has to be. That's the only way it's going to be successful.
Yeah, and I think you have to throw like the Bucks in there, and you have to throw a title change in there, and you have to throw like big surprises in there to get people to watch.
And then you allow more people to start to build.
I actually had it in my notes with the Rampage thing in particular because the way they are promoting this, I think we got our first commercial this past week, our first like official like branded commercial and everything. And one of the taglines is, and I'm going to get this wrong, but it's something along the lines of like, it's almost like less drama, more action, or along that mindset. And I'm wondering if like that's a clue into, is it going to be more match orientated, less storyline? Like, is it going to be more along the lines of a kind of dark or elevation, less backstage segments? Like there was something in there that led me to believe it, and I forgot the exact verbiage, but
I'm watching it right now to see if it pops up.
It's towards the end, I want to say. But then again, TNT has that like no drama, or like they're the drama something, like the something.
We know drama.
Yeah, we know drama. So it might be like a tie into that. Because I
used to watch NYPD Blue and Law and Order and SVU.
And isn't Dynamite eventually moving over to TBS as well?
Yeah.
So it could be like some sort of play on words where it's
less distraction, more action.
Okay, less distraction, more action. I threw in the drama thing then. Okay. Less distraction, more action. Well, what does that mean to you? That would mean less backstage segments, less, you know...
More actual just matches.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Which would actually be great for, like... Because, you like, think about it. You tune in on a Friday night, late at night, you know, later in the evening. Like, you just want to watch some wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, you want to watch some bangers and matches.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they're going to have to do something different than Dynamite to set it apart. And they're also... I mean, if rumor is to be believed, you know, I highly doubt they're going head to head with SmackDown on a Friday night. Like,
no, they're going to be.
They're going to be on a 10. Dude,
okay.
They're going to be on a 10.
Here's the thing: anybody who's watched any amount of PWG knows that like the storylines are secondary to the matches, right? Like Mystery Vortex is a prime example when you just have random people coming out and you're just like, oh, okay, we're just going to have a match. And then they just have a match, and it's entertaining as fuck.
And sometimes there's no reason for them to have a match. They're not two people that hate each other. There's not even a heel or babyface dynamic in a lot of cases. It could be two heels. It could be two babyfaces. We just happen to be tonight going at it, seeing who the better wrestler is.
Right. And then it's just like oh man, I don't know.
I wonder if it's going with that particular strategy, with it being on Friday nights, and we know that Dynamite has never done well on Friday nights. It does worry me about how long this can last, and just I'm not sure that the casual fan is going to like that style of show.
I do worry about that. But
they got to try it.
You got to try. There were like no other days of the week.
Yeah.
No,
really,
but also
they couldn't do Tuesday
unless
or
you did like Saturday mornings or something, like an old school Saturday morning superstars.
Yeah, but you're gonna get even less of the demographic that you want.
Yeah,
you have to be more of a PG audience for a Saturday morning time slot. So a Friday night you can be a little edgier, and also let's be real, a lot of the people that are watching wrestling are gonna be like home and buzzed up on a Friday night.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be a few bowls in and we're gonna just fucking be like, yeah, dude, show me some cool shit. And then they'll show us some cool shit.
At least by that point too, both the NHL and NBA playoffs will be over, so they're gonna have less to contend with there, and that can help things. They'll probably have a good first couple of weeks, and then I'll just be interested to see what the kind of the die off will be, because it's gonna be tough for me to watch that. I pretty much religiously will watch AEW on Wednesdays, and I'll have Raw or SmackDown on in the background kind of, and catch more recaps and what have you with that. But another night of a full, I guess it's just an hour, but another show to kind of have to tack on to that. Friday night is one of the nights that I typically don't put TV on at all, so that one's going to be tough even for me,
Yeah,
we'll see.
I won't even lie. 10 o'clock, I'm just like, nope, it's close to bedtime.
Right.
Because I get the fuck up at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, sometimes I just need to go night-night. But, I don't know. I'll be interested to see what they start throwing at us, because, like, Thunder and SmackDown were sort of... had sort of Thunder was that show.
Thunder was that show,
yeah. But SmackDown, like, everybody was worried that it was going to be a distraction from Raw, and that it was going to be just sort of like filler and not worth watching. And then, SmackDown was really good. So it's I'm really interested to see. But fuck, man, Monday Night Raw, Tuesday NXT,
and
Wednesday
and Impact, if you're into that too,
and Impact, and then Wednesday Night Dynamite, Thursday Ring of Honor, Friday SmackDown, and now Rampage.
Saturday AEW shows sometimes, pay-per-views, or Impact pay-per-views tend to be on Saturdays.
On a Saturday.
This year's SummerSlam's on a Saturday. Sundays, typical pay-per-view day. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah,
Give us
it's like
a break.
literally every day of the week.
That's probably why we report the least on this show about NXT, is because guess what? We had to pick a day.
It's happening right now.
It's happening right now, and we had to pick a day to do the show. And
Yeah, and that's why occasionally I'll just be like, okay, NXT has been on for an hour 45 minutes. Let's see what.
Yeah. Check it out.
See if there's been anything worth seeing.
Right.
Or not. And but the nice thing is checking out the Wrestling Observer. They'll literally just give you bullet points.
And that's they're pretty good.
And that's all I really need.
It's all we need. Yeah. That's all we need. How did you guys overall then think the good and the bad of Money in the Bank? What sort of a rating as a show would you give it? If we're going like 5-star rating system.
I feel like I was gonna say maybe a B, but
I was gonna say a B.
It was a B.
That's like a 3.
A lot of people were way more hyped on Money in the Bank than I think I was. That's why I ask. Like, a lot of people were calling it 10 out of 10. Fucking, like, one of the best pay-per-views.
On paper, it looked really good, but that was also last Tuesday when we did the show and we did our predictions. Because, like, as soon as they announced that, it's Tamina.
Yeah, that took a lot.
We're just like,
Well, it just took the wind out of the sails of the match as well. I wish they, you know what they should have done with that, and maybe they did it because they didn't want people to be really pissed off and shit on it, but maybe it was smart that they announced it a day or two before, Because if it was like the last minute, like, oh, we just found Tamina. And it was Tamina, yeah, I guess we'd be a little bit pissed. So yeah, in fairness, but I don't know. It may be less interested in the pay-per-view. Like, you're getting less buys with that than if you are that the possibility of a Becky Lynch returns happening or something, you know?
Well, I would say that, yeah, I mean, like, let's go through the matches really quickly. Mm-hmm. I'd be interested about your grades. So, like, women's Money in the Bank match.
No. First of all, we have to talk about the pre-show first, where we reward DUIs with fucking tag team titles.
Not only reward DUIs, but award the guy with the DUI to the pin.
Yeah.
So,
hey, there's a chance for me yet.
But yours at least is off your fucking like, it's been long enough that it doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't matter, but it's never off your record. But whatever.
But if you have enough money, it can get off your
75 years in Florida.
but
or money. You could pay anything off in this fucking state.
But we already knew that they were going to do whatever they were going to do with that. They already quietly brushed it off and said, we're sticking to the fucking story.
Right.
So, I don't know. But whatever. It is what it is. And I don't know. The women's match was boring to me.
Was the high point for anybody else Alexa Bliss's outfit?
So you're talking about
everyone did pop when she took her skirt off.
No,
pulled the Miss Elizabeth from the Mega Powers match.
And I liked how she just stood there though too in the corner for a while. The hijinks I'm done with. The whole mind control magic thing. I'm done with it.
The ladder.
I don't need it. It's Alexa's good enough and charismatic enough without any of it now. Like, she can still play a dark character, but I don't think she needs any of the spooky shit really.
No, especially because it's just like, well, if you follow her on social media, you know that there's hardly any of that. It's all just like
playing with her
pictures of Alexa Bliss and, you know, hanging out with her fucking boyfriend. And...
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a terrible Money in the Bank match, and I was pleasantly surprised with the victor.
I was also pleasantly surprised with the finish. Like, the way she got the briefcase.
Yeah. I was too. I didn't like... There was a few bad spots in there. Like, there was one where Nikki did something off a ladder, crossbody.
That did not look good.
Flying splash.
Yeah, her superhero flying splash.
Yeah,
it didn't look good.
Yeah,
you could tell she wanted to go for it, but just kind of was like, I can't fully fucking go.
It was that looked like shit. But again, very, very happy. I think most of those women in general did get a decent showing at least, and that finish was cool. I liked them all on those ladders. Like, I liked that battle on the top of the ladders. I thought was fun. You know, that was cool. And the last person
I love Nikki climbing up behind fucking somebody and just like snagging it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, oh,
there is some logic every once in a while. No, it worked, and I, you know, nothing I'm gonna ever watch again, but good enough, and a good finish and a good victor, and I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
you know, it's a B. You know, it's a B. It's fine. Maybe a B minus.
I gave it C plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, B minus, C plus. That's fair. Somewhere in there. After that, we had Lashley,
we had AJ and Omos.
Oh, that's right. Was
Viking Raiders?
Yeah. It was AJ like basically having a match with the Viking Raiders for the most part. There was a couple of.
I will say when Omos did do some stuff, it didn't look great.
No, it didn't.
I mean, I know he's a bigger guy, but it just could have used some polishing, in my opinion. I don't know. I'd give that a B minus too.
I'd go lower than that. I'd probably put that a C minus, honestly. Like, that one was.
You know what it was for me? F plus.
Right.
Like, it passed, but barely. Like, barely. I love the Viking Raiders, and I'm just so pissed about how they turned them into the comedy act with the Street Profits, and they're never going to get their credibility back.
No. Well, they'll break them up next week anyway, and they'll be feuding with each other, so who knows? But yeah, that's disappointing. I don't really even know. I mean, where do you go from here? Because there's like 3 tag teams in WWE now, so I don't know what you do, but
right?
Whatever. Lashley and
Lashley
Kofi.
Kingston.
Yeah.
I texted our friend Reginald, and I said I did a voice text, and I was like, yeah, 911. I'd like to report a murder.
Yep.
I believe the victim is Kofi Kingston, and I think he's dead in the ring. And he just sent me back, like he laughed his ass off.
Yeah, I mean, it did what it needed to do, with Lashley, and I think
but
I feel awful for Kofi, but I think this is just another step into making Lashley look just insanely dominant. And
but are we going to talk about the bald elephant in the room?
We'll get there.
We have to, but because we can't.
I'm gonna go to sleep for this part.
Sure.
Pretend it doesn't happen. I'm knocking myself out.
I don't want it to happen either.
But it happened.
Yeah.
But Dadberg's back. And
at the expense of a murder of Keith Lee as well.
Yeah.
Keith Lee got a little bit more offense in than Kofi probably did, and looked, and I guess one could say looked good in defeat, but not on his goddamn return, you assholes.
When he's been missing for so long.
When that could have been a number of people in your locker room coming down to do the same exact thing, but you wanted to pop a rating after another pop of a rating. Yep. And yeah, Goldberg's back. What did I say to you, Duncan, and what did we agree on with this? The only way out.
The only way out Lashley has to murder Goldberg.
Absolutely.
There has to be a human sacrifice in the ring.
No. Bobby needs to do almost exactly what he did to Kofi to Goldberg. It needs to be 5 minutes tops of Goldberg couple spears, Lashley up, done, annihilating him.
It needs to be. You remember the Brock and Goldberg match that they had at Mania?
Yes.
That we went to.
Yes.
Unfortunately, but how Brock had eaten all of those defeats and everything before, and then when he came back, it was about a 5-minute match, but he destroyed the shit out of Goldberg. Goldberg got his shit in, but then he got destroyed. That's what needs to happen.
That's 100%.
Yeah, almost. You can carbon copy that match for all I give a shit because I'm not interested in it.
No one is. Well, I guess there are casual fans because the ratings did go crazy on Raw with Goldberg, and
you heard the pop.
Yep, it's there. It's never not gonna be there.
Look, if I had been in that arena, I would have been guilty.
Yeah.
Of popping like a motherfucker, the same as I was in Denver with Matthew.
Yeah.
When he came back the first time, and you know what? I feel terrible that we did then, and I'd feel terrible afterwards now, but that would just be how it is, because it's you hear that music, it triggers your 15-year-old self.
Yep.
And you're just like, God damn it, I fucking get hyped. I want to smash some shit too.
Was it dumb to you that they put this match on as early as they did, and more specifically before the men's Money in the Bank match?
I said to you, Owen, I was just like, oh well, I guess we won't have any threat of fuckery,
right? So. And that's always part of the fun, because at least even if nothing happens, you think it might. Right? You think that someone might cash in later down the line, later down in the night. You've just taken that brainworm away with doing this. It's not even a possibility. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they didn't go that route. But then again, looking at the card, they made they kind of had to, I suppose, if you wanted to elevate the Rhea Charlotte match.
I think they had to kind of place it because that way. Unless you were going to do ladder matches so close to each other.
Right. Yeah. I guess you could have only probably just swapped Rhea and Charlotte with Lashley and Kofi. That would have been the only way that you could have done it. to make that happen. Because, of course, you know, the women's Money in the Bank match was the first match of the night. So you could have had that, you know, anticipation still lingering, but then not necessarily with, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So after that was the men's Money in the Bank match, right? Had to have been, yeah.
No, it was, or after the women's?
No, yeah. No, after Kofi Bobby.
Oh no! Then it was the women's. Then the men's.
Was
Money
it?
in the Bank. Yeah, it was the women's title.
It was Charlotte and Rhea.
Yeah.
It was a great match.
You know, it started. I didn't like it at first. I didn't like
it at first either.
There was 10 minutes of it. There was 10 minutes of it that I was just like, I don't think these two have chemistry. There's something weird. I think I even said to you, Duncan, I'm like, is Rhea is Charlotte like too big for her, like too tall, like that she can't do some of the moves?
To do her moves and
because
like look.
They look sloppy. Like a lot of the stuff she was doing, like even
some of it didn't connect. And then I went to walk the dog, and I was like, and then you texted me, and I was just like, I missed the finish. Like it got really good, and it honestly did get really good, and it was probably as a singles match, the best match of the night. Yeah.
By the end
of it. Was it their best showing? As in matches
it was.
Together?
It's fucking horrible that the storytelling was so bad for their feud.
It was night and day their best showing, though, by the end of it. And Charlotte looked weird to me. I guess.
Well, and it was also so weird when she came out, and she came out and she was in the ring, and then they started showing like clips of her over the years winning the title or something like that. Maybe I don't know if that was SmackDown or was it if it was that night. I just remember it happened sometime.
Sure.
And maybe it was when she was getting in the ring or something. And it was just like, oh, let's look at the progression of fucking plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Because it had her right next to it, because it was still her, and it was like she kept showing the clips of like each NXT title, WWE title, and I was just like, wow. You can really see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of sad, honestly. Like, if she feels good about herself, that's great. I'm not going to shame anybody for wanting to do anything to the body, plastic surgery-wise. That's
when
fine.
You put it all side by side next to
it's
the
very
person.
noticeable. Yeah. It's very noticeable. And to me...
It's like when you do that to Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Exactly. She looked gaunt. She looked very, like, almost sickly in her face. Like, just probably because of her facial bone or whatever she's had done. Like, her face looked too skinny. Like... It was the same sort of feeling.
Like, pointy and like,
that and she's gotten the nose thinned out. I think.
Yes.
So I think the face just looks thin and like longer. You know.
It was the same feeling I had when Pete Dunne was all gray that time. I'm like, is he all right? Like, is he sick?
Is he dying?
Yeah. But no, I mean.
But I would say this was one of the better matches of the night. You know, especially from what we had just seen. We just talked about all those other matches. You know, that was the best match so far.
Yeah, I worry about Rhea's recovery from this, though, because I think it was pretty evident. Now, I get it with, obviously, the cash-in, you know, the following night and all that. I get sort of why you would want Nikki to, you know, take it from Charlotte, but I do wonder if this was a bit of a sign that maybe they don't have trust in Rhea and how she, you know, kind of comes back after this. I'm going to be interested in. I'm going to be interested to see the fan reaction and the backstage reaction with it, and if she can kind of overcome this, because it feels like they might have lost a little bit of trust. And I'll be honest, I have, if I'm quite frank. Like, I don't look at her the way I did when she first came up from NXT and she first won that belt. And I think that there's some room to grow there. And it's probably not, most of it's probably not her fault. It's just, you know, terrible scripting and terrible booking and a terrible just everything to do with the feud, you know, that didn't work. But, yeah, Charlotte never loses, I guess, and picks up the win, and, you know, good honor, I suppose. I think that, I don't know.
Add another title reign notch, you know?
Another one, like, yeah.
I don't know. She's going to end up passing her dad's record before
any male does. Yeah. So then, about this time after that match,
I don't know. Men's.
Well, Then my cock went crazy. Did your cock go crazy?
My cock went wild.
My cock was stuttering, spurting everywhere. It was just go, and my cock went black. Like it went black for a while. My cock went black, and then I restarted my cock. It was still black. It was still jerking. It was still my cock was jerking all over the place. And I couldn't, everyone
was jerking his cock.
Was it jerking and black at times prior to that? Because there were times where it was staggering on my end, and I was like, this can't be my internet.
No,
I had a few, I had some. It was almost.
It was
like
audio dropouts
buffering.
more. It was audio dropouts and a little bit of buffering, and it would do. That thing when it goes from like HD to like the shitty quality,
the standard,
while it catches up, it would do that a lot. I had that quite frequently, but nothing was unwatchable like up till that point. It was just little bits and pieces.
It was
but they were they were clearly having issues prior to the big blackout, we'll say, and it sucks. I haven't really gone back and watched all of it yet.
I haven't either, and
it took me out of the show.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and then apparently they ended up, because it didn't happen, they ended up switching over to, what was it, the foreign feed or something like that, the international feed, because it was stable, but the US one wasn't. So the rest of what we saw was like the international feed. Yeah, that's what I read.
And no one, everybody, they never had any problems. The guys in the UK with the old network, but they haven't switched over yet. Everybody that's still on like the old platform, wow, look. Still works. Funny.
Go figure.
Yeah, the whole Peacock thing, they need to figure that out, and I don't think this was WWE's fault at all. I think this is obviously on the NBC Peacock end.
No, that was a cock error.
Yeah, and you got to think about it too. Like that's gonna be a big issue with all these huge contracts that NBC have with streaming a lot of this stuff now. I mean, they've got deals with the NHL. They've got deals with the fucking Olympics, for God's sake. Like, there's going to be...
Okay, all right. First of all, the Olympics don't fucking matter this year. Who gives a shit?
I will still watch them.
I mean,
it's the first time they got skateboarding in it. Have you seen that part?
Oh, is that
looks
cool.
Fucking sick.
But their swimming arena sank. You can't have fans. They're in cardboard beds, and apparently they're fucking like rabbits and giving each other COVID.
What do you mean they're swimming? I didn't hear this one. The swimming arena? What happened with that?
Yeah, so they built a floating like swimming venue.
Floating swimming venue.
And it sank in the harbor.
Well, they're fucking up across the board on a lot of these things. I have it on very good authority from an inside source here in Denver that there was a certain player who, at the All-Star game last week, who has tested positive and was in contact with 3,000 people signing autographs while with COVID and no masks or anything.
Oh, great.
Yeah, no. I mean,
I know one of the gymnasts. I know the U.S. gymnast. She's like she's contracted it. Yeah.
It's all fine.
But that being said, a lot of U.S. fans were pissed off, to say the least, because we missed all the
package.
Yeah, the packages and like some interviews. I know there was that thing with Boogs and Shinsuke and that whole deal we missed. All the entrances. And I would venture to guess a good half of the match. Good.
I actually was thinking I have to do some work later after this, and I was thinking I was gonna just go downstairs and throw it up and type out my emails and shit and just rewatch that match.
I might do that. When I have a snack later, just to kind of okay, I've seen it, because it on paper was an amazing match. The little slideshow I was seeing made it look like it was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, Kevin Owens takes one of the worst bumps I've seen in a while off that ladder.
He doesn't need to do that shit.
Ricochet looked like he was stealing the goddamn show.
That's how a superhero fucking flies through the air.
Right.
Yeah. Ricochet was on a form we haven't seen Ricochet in a while. and it was nice to kind of see that.
And
really,
he was in gear.
Yeah. And then of course, fucking Big E finally. Like this is good.
Called it,
man. Like this is good. Yeah, we both did, and but you weren't wrong for thinking Drew. But holy fuck, his reaction. Like I have seen some stuff about that, and have seen his reaction, and he's been pretty vocal about it in a couple of interviews. But the crowd is done with Drew. Drew is not over in the slightest anymore.
No, and that was why I really thought they were going to push it.
Yeah.
I'm happy that they're going to go the direction that I think they're going to go with Big E. And
well, let's talk about that, because that's a really good place to actually talk about it, especially, we'll talk very quickly about the Roman Reigns Edge match that followed. I wasn't a big fan of this match. I think a lot people liked it a lot more than I did.
It was really slow for a while.
Slow. It got there. But this is just like a new Roman thing too, I think. All the matches are like, they've become Randy Orton matches in a lot of ways. Like they're slow, they're plotting. There's nothing like, I don't know.
I think that's part of his heel character.
I think it is too. I wasn't a huge fan of the match, but it does bring you to the conclusion one would assume that no one's taking this belt off Roman for a while. Mm-hmm. And with what they have set up with, I don't know, some invisible man that came back.
I know. I heard the music that Duncan loves so much that makes him happy.
I heard the
horns
horns
play when he was in bad moods, and then I looked and I didn't see anyone.
It still makes me so happy. I tell people that at work, and they're just like, "Really?" I'm like, "Oh my god, instant turnaround."
But yeah, with everything they've got going on with that, we're getting, we don't know for sure, but it seems like on Friday we'll get the confirmation of Cena and Reigns at SummerSlam. Cena's already said it on Raw, but we haven't had the confirmation from Roman and Heyman and all that. But your idea, Duncan, I think is pretty damn good. And after Lashley gets done with this Goldberg nonsense and buries him, then we can start up something with a move with Big E after the draft, going to Raw, being back with his New Day brethren, avenging Kofi Kingston's murder, and going after Bobby Lashley, because Big E, Bobby Lashley,
that's a fucking.
It's a
pretty good match.
That's a hell of a program.
Fest.
It's a hell of a and that's a more than one match thing too. Like that, they can ride that shit out till probably Mania if they wanted to.
I think that's a Mania quality main event match,
or Royal Rumble even.
Yeah, I think E will take it before. And he will then lose it again to Lashley.
Only to get it back maybe at Mania.
Maybe a Royal Rumble win.
Mm-hmm.
And then a Mania win.
I'm okay with all that.
Because I think they see, I think big picture, think about a Big E title win in front of 100,000 fans in Dallas.
Massive. And when you've already got so many plans for Roman, as it seems, that is booked. We just need to get Big E, as much as it kills me to say it, we need to get Big E off SmackDown, the better show, and off the Raw to give him a chance, because I just don't see anybody toppling Roman at the moment.
There isn't anybody to topple Roman.
There isn't. Moment. I don't even know who that next guy is. Because John Cena is not going to beat Roman. The Rock is not going to beat Roman. Right?
Well, Brock?
That's probably what they're going to do. I don't know. I still think they need to have Brock come back, and they need to have an allegiance with Brock and Roman, and not necessarily make them a tag team, but have this kind of like, still hate you, but we'll stay out of each other's hair for a while. We're both Paul Heyman guys, do what's best for business, and kind of maybe have each other's back here and there. Like, I could see kind of that working. I don't know. The logical thing, though, really is, like you said, you just have Brock come in and...
Yeah.
Maybe it's just somebody we haven't even thought of. Maybe it has to be a I don't even know who's left on the roster now, but maybe it needs to be
Karrion Kross.
Yeah, maybe it needs
that, like, to Jeff Hardy too.
In 2 minutes, come on.
Well, and that you know, I would have said Karrion Kross. I would have said even Keith Lee. But
I mean, I think the only thing I can think that it's like with Karrion Kross is he's gonna be so angry that he lost, is that he goes goes on a tear or something like that. I don't know if that makes sense, or maybe he needs a certain somebody by his side.
Well, that's part of the theory that I've read today, is that Scarlett is one of those people that apparently, like, in their kayfabe mind, helps Kross control the sort of crazy, if you will, and helps focus him into what he needs to do. So if by bringing in, Scarlett, now we have the, a more focused Kross that can go on a tear or something. So
So we're tearing him down to build him up.
Yeah, as the NXT champion.
I hate that.
I don't like it even more when it's Jeff Hardy, like you said, in 2 minutes, using a heel tactic as a babyface by throwing his feet up on the ropes.
Yep.
To basically bury your NXT champion. Why? Same as the Keith Lee thing.
It didn't make any fucking sense to me, like, at all.
Whoever wrote the show on Monday was on acid, because the booking was just so all over the fucking place. Like, it was, between the Keith Lee Goldberg stuff, between the Karrion Kross Jeff Hardy thing, like, at this point, have Jeff Hardy just win the NXT title and defend it on Raw.
Yeah.
Because that's what you've done to NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've definitely made NXT look like fucking... all it did was show that Vince doesn't give a shit about NXT.
Yeah.
It felt like a personal fuck you to Hunter.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Something was off with it. Yeah, the whole thing. Oh, real quick though, I wrote this down. Just saw it on my notes before we get too far away from that main event with Edge and Roman. I do have to give a fucking shout out to Pat McAfee. Did you hear what he said when Edge had him in whatever move he's got him in, when he's got that fucking like choke chair thing or whatever he was, that thing. He was doing the choke. He like and forgot what move it was. Doesn't matter.
Chair crossface.
Yeah. The crossface thing he was doing, and Pat McAfee goes, "Oh look, Roman Reigns' eyes are beginning to flutter like a peacock." Right after, like, yeah, okay, that's gonna.
All right.
I don't know. I got a kick out of it. The other things that happened on Raw is that Drew is still definitely a heel. He's been a heel this whole time. He had the whole thing where he just beats up people's motorcycles. He's completely, playing a heel character, even though we're supposed to believe in him. Poor Jinder. But Jinder's just out there on Raw trying to have a nice birthday celebration.
Yeah.
Just fucking, hey guys, it's my birthday. Let's have a bit of fun. Nope. Gotta have a good, 20 chair shots from Drew to the head.
34, apparently.
How many?
It was 34.
Jesus.
It was 14 first, and then he broke the chair, and then when he grabbed another chair, the crowd started chanting along and counting, and that was when they got up to 20. So it was 34. And Mick Foley, rightfully so, was just like, that should be reserved for actual like feuds that mean
major
something, or
shit.
don't do it at all.
And obviously it's a lot safer than when The Rock went on the rampage against Mankind, but
of course, but
the optics of it are no different.
Right.
Mick makes a wonderful point about that. I guess that's totally the case. Does Cena just do this one program and leave? I mean, he's calling it the Summer of Cena. I mean,
and summer's almost over.
Right. So
they're advertising him for 15 appearances.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
And one of them is Orlando, like the week after Matthew leaves.
So
and I'm just like,
so it's like a 3-month thing, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Because they'll milk it as much as they can. They'll put him on every fucking show to pop a rating. So
I mean, they released the tour dates for it.
Did they?
It's 15 things over the next month and a half or whatever.
There was one very, very good thing though that happened on Monday Night Raw last night.
There was a bad thing that happened.
What was the bad thing?
Well, the bad thing was that Reggie got, kicked to the curb.
Oh, I was so rude.
Yeah, uncalled for.
Uncalled for completely.
I was like, you know what? This is not necessary.
No, bending over backwards for you, Naya.
Quite literally in some instances.
Yes.
And then, just when our man is at his lowest of his low, here comes fucking Akira Tozawa.
Yeah.
And
who I'd forgotten was the 24/7 champ at the time, by the way.
Too.
I still thought it was R-Truth.
And then Lince Dorado was out there, and I don't know who else the other two were. And then, dude, okay. I was like, that was a really good little like 24/7 title thing. Because that kick that the flipping like splash that he did, really good. And then that finish he had, like the fucking 540 3 whatever that
splash
shit was.
Thing that he did,
like almost like earthquakes, like the the thing, but like doing a big ass flip into it. I'm like, that's great
gonna work.
Finish.
That's gonna work. Yeah. So for him to unexpectedly be able to out of nowhere win a match and pick up his first title in the WWE system, I don't care what anybody says, it's still a title. It might be a 24/7 championship. You're still a champion. You have won. Reggie, our buddy, he has won gold in the WWE, no matter how you look at it. That's
and the
awesome.
Best part was that the crowd's chanting Reggie sucks, Reggie sucks. He wins the title and immediately it switches to Reggie.
I don't think that was pumped in. I think that was legit, and I think that in one like segment he turned from a heel to a babyface, and they did that kind of well because you had the sympathy going from the Nia stuff moving into this. All of a sudden we're behind the guy, and then what he does to get out of there,
dude,
was incredible. Like
throws the belt around his waist and then does the fucking like however many back handsprings out the ramp. I'm like,
jumps. No, it was when he jumped over the stairs.
Oh, dude, he did the little fucking like leprechaun kick.
Yeah, he did the see you later.
Clicked his heels and is like spring heel jack and away.
I love it. I also,
it was so good. I texted him immediately. I was so fucking happy for him.
I'm sure he was stoked, and I'm sure he should be stoked.
Yeah. So much fun.
I really kind of look at it too, is that the 24/7 championship has needed a good sort of, not only just a breath of fresh air, but a new direction. you know?
Yeah.
And I know we all kind of want it to be the hardcore championship, but it's not. It never will be. It's never going to be that type of belt. But what they can do with this, with Reggie's skill, is that it's going to be a cat and mouse game. It's going to be that no one can fucking catch him because he's just constantly doing some acrobatic bullshit to get out of any bit of harm's way, right? Like it's going to be a constant thing where he's going to be almost out, almost done, and zoop, 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 and you know, he's going to be off. I think that they could have him hold that for a while, and even if it is a more back and forth thing like it's been in the past, which I hope it isn't. I hope they do stick with it, and they have someone that's just you can't catch, like again, the cat and mouse game thing.
Cenas, you can't see me. It's you can't catch me.
You can't catch me. And I think that would be a very fun direction for them to go in with like the belt. I also think that over time, him and R-Truth are gonna be buddies, and they're gonna end up like, I don't know. I don't want to say that they should be a tag team or something, but R-Truth's gonna help Reggie get over even more than he probably is. Like that's my general.
I have a feeling that that's true as well. And honestly, those two would be hilarious together.
Yes.
And R-Truth is a really good wrestler.
He is. He doesn't get enough credit. Old Ronald.
Well, he's also the 52-time 24/7 champion.
52 now.
Stab him in the eye 52 times. God damn it.
Well, he's a future Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah,
no matter how you look
at it. He's an NWA champion.
Yeah.
Former NWA champion.
He's held the tag team belts in WWE a couple of times.
I believe one of them was.
I feel like he's a U.S. champion before.
Yep. Oh no, Truth's held gold for sure. Like,
didn't he hold it with Cena?
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure they won the tag titles.
I think
he won the tag titles with Cena.
I think you're right. Yeah. Oh, moving on though a little bit. Let's go. Let's talk a little bit about AE Dubs, and it was another quality Dynamite. I liked what they did with the way Aleister Black appeared again. I like Cody Rhodes' promo this past week. I thought it was probably one of the best Cody Rhodes promos I've seen in quite some time. Liked how we started off at the announce desk and said, kind of fuck it. I gotta give me a mic. Go down to the ring. Vignette plays. Well, not vignette, but he's talking to Aleister Black, and obviously in the back, being all spooky, talking about people shooting horses in the head or whatever he's talking about. And but it worked.
Cryptic weird shit, but for somebody like Cody, like Dusty having a farm and
no, it all worked. Ranch. They didn't hint necessarily that it was like super spooky or anything. It was just the lights went out and he was there. I'm fine with that. That's been happening in wrestling since I've been watching wrestling, and it doesn't happen a lot these days. Like where it's just power outage or something happened. You can't really explain it. It doesn't need to be explained. Like it's just the lights go out. Someone's there. There he is. He's in the ring. A great pull apart, between the two of them. I really think this is going in the right direction, and I'm really excited to see it unfold. And I think we're going to get our wish that Malachi Black, they're going to have a long, lengthy match, but Malachi Black is going to win this, and he's going to hurt Cody. He's going to hurt him, not only physically, but mentally. He is going to break Cody.
And he needs to, because Cody needs to go away for a little bit.
Yeah. And someone needs to fucking shut him down.
Well,
I think it will be an amazing match.
Yeah, I think they're going to do a lot of good there.
And I think it also establishes Malachi Black as a top-level heel to be dealt with.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think
not
that's
even a heel, an anti-hero.
Anti-hero, yeah. And he's the kind of person who I think Cody would do that for.
I think so, too.
Like, Cody would put himself over 9 times out of 10. Or 9.8 times out of 10. This is the 0.2 of a time.
It's also
someone like this.
Well, I think he understands the worth that it is to the company what you're building. I think he understands that that's a big deal, and he probably
and that it's not going to just it doesn't completely take away from Cody.
No, because he can go away for 6 months
and be fine.
He goes away for 6 months. He comes back. He gets the biggest pop that he's had in 2 years because people have gotten tired of him. Like that's what it can do for Cody. It's a scratch your back, I'll scratch that whole thing. Yeah. Scratching the backs. So no, I'm into it. I'm also into what I think has already happened. I called it last week, but I'm pretty sure Andrade and Vicki are done.
Well, thank God. Before we get there, I just want to say about Malachi Black is I think that this is AEW's chance to sort of go the direction that they couldn't go with Brody Lee as the Exalted One.
Yeah.
And sort of that like dark,
yeah.
Because like it didn't work with Brody Lee because he was too much of a comedic presence,
especially with the Dark Order shift and everything.
Exactly. So I think this is a chance for them to establish a dark character with hints of the supernatural instead of a supernatural character.
No, I like that. I mean, that's what they need.
I think that's the only way to do it and have it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving forward to what I was saying with the Andrade Vicki thing, it was very telling to me that Vicky's not working for Andrade. Like we said that since the debut. They've already established this other guy now who's like his sort of personal assistant or whatever. He's doing the whole taking care of his clothes and handling his paperwork and all that type of shit.
He's his what was Diddy's fucking
with
the guy
with the guy who held the umbrella. I forgot about that guy. Yeah. But no, I think it's for the best, as I'm sure you guys agree. I mean, it was obviously just telling, though, that, here's Andrade cutting a promo where, he's, I guess, looking for Death Triangle. Basically puts, Abrahantes on notice that he's looking for him, and yeah, so it was telling that Vicki wasn't there for that, and then Vicki showed up later, of course, to accompany Nyla Rose. So it's not like she just wasn't just there, but they clearly have made a choice to separate the two, and sometimes I hate in a lot of cases with wrestling that storylines just go dead and you never hear an explanation why. This is one I don't need an explanation.
No,
why.
I completely agree.
Exactly. He's going to be better off.
Yeah.
I just think he needs a better showing in the ring now.
Mm-hmm.
Which he'll get there, I think.
I think he will.
I mean, I think it's there. I just, again, like we talked about last week, Matt Sydal is just not the person to have that first match with.
Not the guy.
I mean, I could see him and Miro having a great match down the road.
Yeah, it doesn't need to always be like your middle lightweight type guy, I think you can do, Andrade can have great matches with, I think, kind of across the board. Bigger guys, smaller guys. I don't know, technicians, power guys, all of that. I think it was honestly maybe too easy for him having a Matt Sydal, a guy that, can also jump around, go crazy in the ring. Andrade's not wrestling, it seems like that right now. He's wrestling
more like a bruiser. He was
bruiser
slash more strong arm.
Yeah. He's definitely. I don't know if he even took to the top rope in that match, but we'll see which direction it goes. But maybe he reserves that for those big, high profile.
Or maybe
matches.
he only does it when he's wrestling other luchadors.
Does it when he's wrestling in AAA or something like that. He keeps making the AEW style a little bit different than when he's wrestling elsewhere.
Yeah,
which would
I don't hate that.
Which would make a lot of sense.
I don't hate that either.
Yeah,
I don't hate that either. I will say that I did go back and watch the Young Bucks match from the previous week, just to see the cigarette earrings that you mentioned last week, and they were absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean,
most ridiculous.
I do love this version of the Young Bucks.
Oh, it's
so
I will not get tired of it. I will not get tired of it. I know it's obnoxious, and it's supposed to be, and it's everything I want in a Young Bucks.
It's amazingly obnoxious, and the fact that they've leaned into it so hard, and they're just so good at it. They're so cocky, and so and the fact that they can actually back it up in the ring too.
100%.
That's the best part.
That's the best part. Yeah, is that they can do that. So, I was gonna say, what was it? Now I've lost it.
Well, while you're on the topic, if it comes to you, let me know. But while we're on the topic of the Young Bucks, I did have in my notes to talk about of course, development of the Elite versus the Dark Order. We had the confrontation of Kenny and Hangman, and the now stipulation that I guess has been brought upon that the Elite and the Dark Order will have a 5-on-5 match. And if the Dark Order win, then Hangman will get to challenge Kenny for the belt. And if the Dark Order win, then they will also get to challenge for the Young Bucks tag belts. So the question is, we've got the 5 in the Elite, right? We got the Bucks, we got Kenny, and we got Gallows and Anderson. Who do we have in the Dark Order, and who do you put in there? Because obviously we're gonna have Hangman.
Right.
Yep.
I think you put Evil Uno.
I think you kind of have to put Evil Uno because he's kind of like the symbol of like.
And
like
he's been the mouthpiece coming up, and even when he came up and confronted Kenny, and he's been the one.
So by that logic, I don't think that you would put Evil Uno in without putting Stu Grayson in, because those would be the two to logically challenge for the Bucks tag team championships.
What if you put Silver and Reynolds
That's
in?
the only other caveat. Yes, so that's where I'm at.
I also think that 5 and Preston Vance.
That's where I'm going with it. Is I think they do 10 and 5, or 10 and Colt.
I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say
or
put Colt in just because of the history.
Yeah. So like, fun. there's a lot of ways to go with it. Like
I think it's great because there's a lot of cool possibilities and a lot of matches that can come out of it as well. Like a lot of like stuff that can develop off this.
Yeah.
I think it would be hilarious, or just I think what needs to happen is Hangman not get that pin to win for the Dark Order. I think the Dark Order it needs to win, but it needs to be like a 5 or a Colt or somebody like that, or an Uno to pin Kenny. Let's have him pin Kenny after some crazy shit that happens to Kenny, right? Kenny gets pinned by 5, right?
Yeah, they're not going to have Kenny eat a pin before Hangman in AEW.
Yeah.
Even in a multi-man. I don't think they have.
Because that would typically be the way to do it. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's probably too typical. But then who does eat the pin? I mean, I guess easy one with Gallows or Anderson. Yeah.
Gallows doesn't give a fuck.
Gallows gives no fucks too. Yeah.
Nope.
And realistically, you could do either of the Bucks and probably still make that work as well. Like and make it more of the tag team battle, like that kind of.
It would be
Silver pinning one of the Bucks if it was Silver and Reynolds. Like that would be a smart way to go too.
That really would be, especially because they won't win the titles from them.
Right.
Exactly.
But Hangman gets the shot. Also keeps Hangman close and a little bit more indebted in a sense to the Dark Order, right? Like, because he, for all we know in this match, I would have Hangman on the verge of losing the match. I would have Hangman on the verge of losing the match for all of them. Is it an
elimination match?
Don't think they've said that. I think it's just a 5-on-5 to my knowledge currently. And I don't know that we've even got a date for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if we have a date. I was just looking up at what they have for tomorrow night's Dynamite.
Tomorrow's
Fest night too.
Yeah,
right?
It's so that was one thing I did want to say was we didn't touch on the IWGP US title match at the beginning.
Oh,
of the show.
Absolutely, we should touch on that for sure.
Yeah, what did you guys think about that Moxley and Machine Gun?
It took a while to get going again. But for some reason I thought that was going to be a little bit more of a like, I liked that they tried to make it a New Japan style match and they made a point of it, but it didn't feel like one. It still felt like an AEW match. I think it would have served a little bit better if it was a little bit more in that style. I also kind of wanted to see Moxley in the trunks, and I also wanted to see Anderson in like the trunks as well, looking more like they did back in New Japan. I think like those little things could have like played into that nicely. I was disappointed that Anderson lost, really, when I think back about it. Am I surprised? No. But I think they could have done something there. I'm not saying it was a bad match, but I wanted a little bit more out of Anderson. It just shows you how big, how much they love Moxley.
I don't know if it was just me, but it felt very phoned in.
Yeah.
It did.
It's probably the Good Brothers.
Yeah, I was gonna say Machine Gun didn't really look like he's been
machine gunning, right?
Yeah, he had not been machine gun.
No, he might have been shotgunning. Brewskis.
Yeah, definitely shotguns and brewskis. So
I didn't hate it though. I didn't hate it.
I just wanted to like it a lot more. I was expecting. I put too much of an expectation on it on my mind. Yeah. So I will just say I just saw a text on my phone, Duncan, and our good sister Kim said that she found our live stream and was watching.
Woo!
Kim,
Kim,
watching.
hey, how's it going?
But that brings us to IWGP US Championship for tomorrow night. Texas Death Match, Jon Moxley and Lance Archer.
Yes. This, I got a couple, man. In my heart of hearts, it's probably Moxley still wins the match. But when you're in Texas, when it's Lance Archer, and what a great way for them to rebuild Archer if he takes this and wins this. Like, this could be...
Into the Murder Hawk,
You know,
It's tough because logic does dictate that Mox doesn't. Yeah. Like, it's too predictable for Mox to win.
Yep.
Right? Like, it's the safe bet.
Yep.
Mox is going to win. It's going to be like Okada or Naito or somebody who takes the U.S. title from him, right? So, because I'm pretty sure that Moxley won that belt from Jay White.
Oh, yeah. I think he did.
Moxley won that belt from Jay White.
Yeah,
so, what if Jay White beats Kenny Omega? Oh my God. If Jay White beat Kenny Omega for the AEW title and beat Jon Moxley for the IWGP US title, or even if he just beat Kenny for the Impact titles and then held the Impact titles and the fucking IWGP US title.
Then are we doing a Jay White belt collector gimmick?
No, then we're doing Kenny versus Jay White. They both have two titles.
That's true.
And then it's just like it's...
Yeah, that could work.
You could do that for all the belts.
Oh,
like,
damn.
Gold versus gold. And that's how... I mean, honestly, that's how Kenny could complete the gauntlet.
Yeah.
If that's what your ultimate goal is.
If that is what your ultimate goal is, you could do that.
That's
not... I don't hate that booking.
Lots to think about that there. I think we'll know...
You could book that. You could have that play out till Wrestle Kingdom, honestly.
Yeah, you could do that. I think we'll know a lot more tomorrow night.
Yeah.
At the start of the show. Here's what I'm going to say is if that match, the Texas, what is it? Texas Death match. If that match opens
Massacre match.
Exactly. If that opens the show, Moxley retains. If it doesn't,
if it closes
the show, Archer wins. That's in my mind. That's my mind the way I look at it.
It's probably a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it right now. I think it's gonna close.
I think
I just see it closing just based on them opening Dynamite last week with that. And like they had the coffin match. Like the gimmick match usually goes on last.
I have a weird feeling that Archer's gonna take it. I have a weird feeling about it.
It would be, man, it would be a really good way to send Archer over to Japan or to New Japan Strong in LA.
Where he's worked plenty with New Japan.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, they've had their history. Even Moxley and Archer have had matches in New Japan, if I'm not mistaken. So this is just, I don't know, it's too fitting. But then again, we could say the same with Carl Anderson, really. So
we did say the same.
We did say the same,
in fact. So,
but they're almost playing the same game twice, right? They're almost doing the same thing. So I just can't see them once again doing the Moxley retains thing. Like I think it might be time.
It is time, but I can also see them keeping it.
Yeah, of course, because it's fucking Jon Moxley. If it was anyone else, it would be different. But he is still one of the biggest draws on the planet when it comes to pro wrestling.
But this is why I said we're getting dangerously close to running everything around the same people.
Yep. And he needs to go away for a while, be with his baby girl, and he should do that. He should do that.
He should do that.
He should do that. Yeah.
Like, we love Jon Moxley, but you know what? If you go away for a few months and spend some time with your family and come back, we're gonna
love you more. Very quickly, we need to get out of here because Owen needs to actually get up tomorrow morning for work. Boo. But yes, very, very quickly, we'll run through just a couple of things. I'm sure you heard that Braun had new merch on the WWE shop pop up.
I did.
Read a little bit more about this today. And they were not new designs. They were stuff that was
older designs.
They were on back order from what sources on the internets are saying. So don't get too excited that Braun's running back to, WWE.
No, but Braun back to WWE confirmed. You heard it here first.
But at that same token, don't discount it for sure, because I could see him taking like a pay cut for half his money and going back to WWE in a heartbeat.
Name of the episode: Braun Strowman return confirmed.
No, don't.
Oh my god! You can get. I'm at his WWE shop right now. You can get Braun Strowman Express slippers.
Well, I needed those. I mean, for.
Yeah.
You can also for $30 get a commemorative plaque of when he beat Elias at Fastlane.
If they don't, I need all those things. But if those slippers, I know
I'm getting you guys for Christmas.
If those slippers, when I walk down the hall at night, don't fucking play the train sound as I go to the fridge to grab a glass of water in the middle of the night, I don't need them. Like either that, or they need headlights in the toes
so that you can see.
So I can train.
Or every step it just says "stupid."
One says "stew," the other one says "pid." Stupid, stupid.
I also had one quick last idea, and I'll leave it with
Is it better than this? The talking merch?
It's not. It's probably not better than that. Actually, two quick things. Daniel Bryan's future seems still up in the air, and a couple of weeks ago I would have said you were crazy for even thinking that he would appear on any other platform besides WWE, but I guess in doing some research, they found out that all of the merch for him is not licensed through not only 2021 but 2022. They haven't had they're not putting these things don't happen. There's no figures of Daniel Bryan coming out in 2021 or 2022. Right. There's no
they kept him off of the video games.
Exactly. This is very telling stuff. And I mean, it's a tantalizing prospect. And I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but
we don't want to get too excited.
No, but Daniel Bryan in AEW would be unreal. And if they could make that work,
I think
we also said the same thing about Aleister Black.
Yeah.
And now he's there as well. So
things happen.
I will say that the more I've thought about it, with at least what he was saying while he was still in WWE, that he wanted to kind of be more part-time and, like those types of things, and he wanted to help put people over. Like, I feel like he just knows what he would be getting back into at WWE, and it's not what he wants. I feel like if he is going to retire sooner rather than later, like he wants to
do it on his terms.
Do it on his terms and get some real wrestling in.
Yeah.
You know, and he has the opportunity. He does it with AEW to do it with some of the other promotions like New Japan and you know, Impact or Ring of Honor. You know, like he could at least do a little bit of crossover. But I think more so New Japan.
Well, it's the key thing, isn't it, with the AEW partnership? There's the fact that he could probably, with a guy of his stature, could negotiate, hey, I want to do shows with you guys, but I want to work with New Japan. I want to work with Ring of Honor. I want to have this, like, farewell almost tour of these different companies.
AEW would chomp at the bit to make that happen.
I think so too.
A little bit of news reading here is Jake Roberts has signed a new 2-year extension with AEW.
Oh wow, if he lives that long.
Well,
there's
that. The man still smokes like 85 cigarettes a day. Smokes more than you do.
I know. But that, you know, hey, that kind of plays into my Lance Archer, you know, idea. So,
yeah,
you know, not saying it doesn't, like, it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't
honestly,
hurt it.
like, I want to see Lance Archer take it.
I do too, because I think he's been given a bad, you know, go of it.
Yeah,
and I think something like this
isn't a real shit deal.
This guy could, he's towards the end of his career as well. He's getting up there in age, and I think that they need to do it now with him if they're ever going to do anything with him. Right. So
yeah, he's 44.
Yeah,
fuck.
Yeah, older than you think.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
My last little point, and I'm not even going to take complete credit for this. I'm actually going to throw it to our buddy Brian Bindman, who came up with this idea.
No,
I was talking with him today. Not somebody that you know, Matthew, but he is in the Facebook group, and I think he listens to this show every once in a while. And Brian Bindman had an interesting point, because we were talking a little bit about the Roman Reigns stuff, and we were talking about the head of the table and all like the future things, and he's like, so. He's like, I heard some news that I didn't know. I'm like, okay. He's like, apparently in the last couple of days, they've quietly, without any fanfare, switched Naomi from Raw to SmackDown.
Yep.
And he proposed, it's not the worst idea. I don't hate it. At first I hated it because it was him. But then I was just like, okay. That's not too terrible. What if Naomi joins the faction, joins the family, and goes over there, turns heel, and takes a belt off Bianca or whoever, to then become
all the gold,
all the faction with all the gold, and that's a kind of cool.
I hate the idea of taking the belt off of Bianca.
This soon? Yeah, it's too soon.
She's just hit 100 days, apparently.
Yeah.
And I think that she needs to hold that title for a while.
Yeah.
That's the only kink in the whole plan in my mind. Like if it was a more transitional champ, then I would totally go for it. But this, I could, even if that doesn't happen and you just have Naomi turning heel, kind of joining the family, I'm still, I think, okay with that. I think that kind of works. And I think Naomi heel can probably, like, under this guise right now, with the whole family gimmick and everything, I think that might be a better direction than what she's got going on right now, which is kind of nothing.
Do you think Roman's gonna run her down?
Yes.
And like break her down and turn her heel?
Yes. And I think he's gonna eventually make her essentially be his like servant. She's gonna carry the belt. She's gonna clean up after the boys. She's gonna they're going to do all that, man. Oh yeah, they're gonna get misogynistic as fuck. Oh. They're gonna totally do it. But
God damn it.
I mean, if they were okay with doing what they did the other night, well, it was at Money in the Bank, right? Where after the Usos had won the belts, they're all happy. They're standing next to Roman. Roman delivers the promo to Jay. He's like, Jay, don't be too fucking happy with yourself. I'm the one that brought you to the dance. Without me, you wouldn't even be here.
Right.
Looks at Jimmy and says, don't even get me started about you.
I was like, oh my God.
We said that they would never address it again. They addressed it again. They
addressed it without addressing it.
They did.
Yeah. That's exactly what they did. They did the wink, wink, nudge, nudge that WWE loves to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, pros and cons to that whole situation. But it could breathe new life, which is going to need it into that head of the table, the whole family gimmick. So I can see them doing something with it.
Honestly.
And credit to Brian Bindman for having a good idea.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, all right. I'll give him that one.
Anything else you guys want to shout out before we rock and roll out of hell?
I saw a really funny GIF or GIF or whatever the fuck you say. But it was of Orange Cassidy doing his shin tap to Conor McGregor.
Oh, yeah. It's the most devastating move in all of wrestling next to the roll-up. That's great. That's great. And expect to see that motherfucker probably in a WWE ring in the next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I actually read an article recently where Big E was talking about it. It got brought up on some podcast or something, and he was saying that, like, you know, I'm not totally against it. I think he's like it would be a good investment for people, like certain people in WWE. He was like, I see why they would do it. He was like, and he was like, but you know, he's like, there are people. He's like, I don't have a problem. He's like, there are people in the locker room who would have a problem.
Yeah, right.
And then he said, but he's like, also, he's like, the only other thing I will say is like, I like to. Like the place I work and the locker room I'm in, I like to make sure that, like, I like to know
I don't like to hang out with criminals or something.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was like, I don't like to hang out with like people who have problems with the law and stuff like that. I like to be around good people.
Yeah, and fair enough to him, because fuck Conor McGregor. Never been a big fan. He's a punk, and
yeah, I think he's a total bitch. But
and that
well, and he can't back it up. So
that's true.
At the end of the day, he would still make a fucking fantastic personality on a WWE television screen, and that's not denied.
Dude, yes and no. Like he would be, but at the same time, like all he can do is say "fook."
Yeah, it would get old real quick.
And you can't.
If you thought Ronda Rousey got annoying within a year, wait for you see Conor McGregor. Hold my beer on that one, right?
Yeah, seriously.
God. Oh.
It's
way to bring it down.
I know. Man. Sorry. Everybody, thank you for listening. We gotta get out of here because, like I said, I gotta get my ass to bed at some point and get up for work tomorrow. But hey, we'll be back next week. It'll probably be the same type of thing because I think I'll work next Tuesday as well. Either way, we thank you for tuning in. If you're listening to the podcast and the podcast alone, remember that we do this live on Twitch. It's 9 o'clock usually on Tuesday nights over at twitch.tv/ONRS Live. Don't forget to leave us a voicemail. We do have a voicemail line. That's over at 407-906-6466. We, of course, have everything up over at OhNoWrestling.com. We implore you to check out our sister show, the father show of this show, the OhNo Radio Show at OhNoRadioshow.com. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ONRS. That helps both shows. If you enjoy the content, we'd appreciate any sort of donation that you can throw to us.
Give us money.
And, join our Facebook groups. You know how to use Facebook. Check out our Instagram at OhNo Wrestling. And boys, what do we say when we get out of here for the evening?